I'm rebuilding my life at 30 years old. In this video I will speak on what went wrong and what's not gone wrong. I'm making this video now because I'm at somewhat of a pivotal moment in my life, or I'm at a moment of clarity whereby I am focused. I've always been laser focused on the things that I do, but I am more focused than ever. I have better structure in place. I'm operating from a systems mindset, and I'm at a point where I can focus on the personal direction in my life rather than the responsibilities that come with, living. So let's first of all talk about things which have gone wrong. And I should say that this channel is about artwork, about personal development, about training, and it's all going to sort of amalgamate into different type of videos. But the fundamental underlying theme of this channel is that life, art and strength is a process, and I will document the process here. So let's talk about what went wrong. Living in survival mode for way too long. Living in survival mode basically puts you on high alert all the time, which doesn't leave much room for thinking time. It doesn't leave much room for personal direction. It doesn't leave much room for recovery and repair. When you're in survival mode, you are focused on earning the next bit of money, paying the next bill, finding your next meal, essentially. Believing that hard work alone will create the life you want is not something I believe in anymore, because I see people working as hard as they possibly can at the age of 40, 50, 60, and they don't have the life they want. And the reason for that is not their hard work, it's many other things. And this has always been something which I've known because I've always been somewhat entrepreneurial. Tried to start my first business when I was about 12 or 13 years old. Sold my own artworks when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. So I've always kind of known that hard work alone is not going to get you where you want to be in life. But when giant responsibilities happen, you have no choice but to work, because you have to pay for yourself, And if you start living alone from the age of 18, then you've got to pay for your life. And so you're in survival mode, whether you like it or not. You've probably heard the saying, if you make your bed, you've got to lie in it. And that's what I've been doing for the last 13 years. I've been lying in the bed which I've made. I've had relationships which have not worked out. Some relationships I regret didn't work out. I wouldn't say regret, I will reframe that. Some relationships which could have worked out, but didn't, essentially. I've had disruptive relationships which dragged my concentration away from my personal direction. And this is a part of your life which is a huge structural balance, If you have a relationship which is productive and adds, that's fantastic. If you have a relationship which doesn't do that, then it's going to, at some point, the train's going to come off the rails at some point, let's put it that way. So you need to, in fact, I'm not going to say you need to, because that implies I'm trying to give advice, which I'm not. I'm just reflecting on what went wrong. And so I've kind of touched on being in survival mode, believing in hard work not being the one, structural mistakes such as like relationships, focusing on too many. Another aspect of structural mistake would be focusing on too many things rather than honing in onto one thing. And when your bandwidth is spread too widely, you don't really have enough to make good, solid progress into any one thing. Let's talk about the things which haven't gone wrong. My values have stayed intact over time. I've probably gotten stronger. I've always valued integrity, honesty, love, Hard work I value, I just know it doesn't get you to where you want to be alone. Integrity, love, health, honesty, strength, discipline. My values have always been pretty much the same, just strengthened over time. My curiosity, my interdisciplinary pursuits have remained intact. My curiosity is as strong as ever. I'm curious about the world around me. I'm curious about people. I'm curious about my artwork, which you can see up to my right. Let's shine a light on that a little bit better, perhaps. I'm curious about where I'm going in life. I'm curious about many things. Discipline has always played a role in my life. I've started training from a young age in gyms, in my friends' garages, with my own weights at home, and then took training a little bit more seriously since around 2020. Began a proper strength training protocol, and now I'm stronger than I've ever been before, and I plan to get stronger yet. I've been building discipline and my values over a long period of time, and now I am focusing all of this energy into building something meaningful over the next 5 to 10 years, such as a body of artwork, such as a stronger physical body, such as a business. Okay, I think that's probably enough for things which didn't go wrong. Let's talk about now what I'm doing differently now to what I've done before. I have fewer drains on my personal direction now. I have fewer leeches of my concentration and my focus. I have fewer screams in my ears. I am able to spend my time around 30% doing the things exactly which I want to do. Of course, I have to work, I have to sleep, I have to eat. I mean, I kind of want to eat as well and want to sleep at times. But by and large, I have time in which I can decide exactly what I want to do with it. And so this creates personal direction. I have clear focus. I have long-term thinking, which I have built over time. You know, I think it's rare to be thinking long-term or clearly thinking long-term when you are a young man, because you kind of just think life goes on forever, you're invincible, and everything's going to be good. But the older you get, the more you realise, well, time is running out, you know. And I think when you hit around the age of 30, it's probably common that most people go through somewhat of an existential crisis. Not a crisis in some senses of the word, but you come to the realisation that, well, I've been here for 30 years. Granted, for the first 20, 21, 22, I was a baby, a child, a toddler, a young person, a young kid, a teenager, an older teenager, then a young adult, going through education, so on and so forth, relying on my parents for sustenance and shelter. Whereas from the ages of early 20s to 30, you're kind of out in the world doing your thing, trying new things, trying, you know, to form relationships with people. Maybe if you want to start a family, you start a family. And I feel like I've probably spoken enough about rebuilding at 30. It's not like I'm starting from scratch, you know. I have my own place, I've got a car, I've got a job, I've got many things kind of going for me. I'm creating a new series of paintings. I'm a father. I'm extremely strong. I have elite levels of strength in certain lifts, which I've built up this strength over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So I have things going for me. So I'm not starting from zero. I'm starting from a position of resilience, wisdom, clearer mindset, focus, drive. and perhaps many more things which I'll not speak on. Let's come to a close now. So, who this video is for, who this channel is for, who it's not for. I guess it's for people who are somewhat like-minded, in that they enjoy process, they enjoy seeing things go from one point to an end point. Of course, it's for art enthusiasts, people who enjoy artwork, because this is basically an art channel. This is my studio where I reflect on life, reflect on artworks, reflect on strength. It's for people interested in strength, people interested in art, people interested in process, people interested in a calm and structured delivery of wisdom. Who it's not for, this channel is not for people chasing hype. It's not for people chasing virality. It's not for people chasing, the shortcuts in life, because there are no shortcuts in life. And life's not just about hard work. You should work hard, you should work smart. Yeah, I think that's probably enough to say in this one video. No, it's not. I just want to talk about Load before I leave you. So Load is the second painting in the series. The first painting is Form. I have a 6 painting series planned out. Load is underway at the moment. Load is a little bit more difficult to do than Form was, simply because of the structure and the layout and the message behind it, and basically the representation of twisting muscles, of a twisted torso. That compression is harder to portray than simply looking forward onto a figure, which is Form, basically. I'm enjoying it so far. It's around, I think I'm on the 4th or 5th pass. And when I say that, I just mean the first pass was drawing, the second pass was blocking out the base colours, third pass was adding a little bit more depth, and the fourth pass, yes, I think it's on the 4th pass. The 4th pass is just adding more depth again, getting rid of some of the mid-tones, creating the deeper tones, the darker tones, to really make it pop. So I suspect it'll probably take 5, 6, 7, 8, probably 4 more passes, and then it'll be completed. Basically 4 more sessions, anywhere from 40 minutes up to 90 minutes. And then it should be completed, at which point I will put it aside and then start working on the next painting of the series. I'm sorry if you clicked this video and all you thought I was going to do was talk about my life and rebuilding at 30, which I have done for the most part, but this is my studio, and so it's important to speak about my artwork as well when the opportunity arises, and the opportunity has arisen here. That's enough for now. Thank you for watching. I shall see you in the next one.